Hi everybody. I I was a little bit absent these past few days. I uh, I know I said that I was gonna make a video every day or almost every day. I really apologize for that. I've been going through some things. Don't know if I should talk about them. I'm a very open guy. I talk about a lot of things, but there are some things I don't really like to talk about publicly, as a lot of people do. But uh, I don't have any issue talking about a lot of private things, but some of those things, I tend to keep a little bit private. But yeah, I just was going through a hard situation, so that's why I did not make any videos. But all is well. All is well, and we thank God. We thank the natural order of things. We thank the Creator, no matter what name you give it, or him, or her. And we are thankful for everything. I'm really tired, so that's why I'm speaking like this. If you guys notice, I'm a little bit tired. Yeah. So, it's pretty late here, and I don't know why every time I make a video at night, the quality of the camera it changes. And I was always very intrigued by that. Like, how is that something in the atmosphere changes? Something in the aura of space itself changes. I can see, even by making this video right now, I can see even my movements are not as fluid on the camera. But I don't have this issue during the day. It's weird. I know definitely that at night is very different energy than in the day. The aura is different. You know, even for people who practice occult, or, you know, all these kind of occult arts, there are certain things that people cannot perform in any time of the day. They need a specific time of the day. Some of the things work only at night. Some of the things work only in the day. So there is something that differentiates time, like the time of day. So there's a lot to talk about, and I haven't decided what to talk about yet. But let's talk about Sanatana Dharma for a change, for a little bit. Because I know that recently, as you have all seen, a lot of my videos have become about Christ and Christianity and church and Jesus. And everything I talk about actually ties in with each other. It's not like anything is divided, because I don't believe in division or dividing or separating things in that way, like in terms of division. But Sanatana Dharma, let's talk about that, because even lately we've been seeing that they have been fighting against Sadhguru. For those who don't know Sadhguru, please check him out. Quite famous yogi in the world, master. He's the one who I've learned yoga from, and who I still follow online. I visited his ashram 2 times in my life, and did a few programs there, and learned quite a lot. And what was intriguing me about Sadhguru was his deep knowledge on the mystical and spiritual aspects of life, like the spiritual world. He really, really knows his stuff when it comes to the spiritual world, the realms or the dimensions beyond the physical, beyond the mental. And he has a really good way of explaining and putting those things into words and really giving a taste or an access to people who want to know those dimensions, like the steps to take to get there and everything, which I found really fascinating. So definitely Sadhguru is a great master. I mean, whether you like him or don't like him, it doesn't matter. A great master is always a great master. It's not about our preference. We might like or dislike something or someone, but if it's great, it's great. It has nothing to do with our preference. You see, nature itself. Nature is, without nature, we don't live. Without the trees and the moon and the sun and the wind and the water and the ocean and the rivers and the rain and everything, we don't live. Nature is life. But at the same time, nature gives us hurricanes, gives us earthquakes, thunder. It can be quite dangerous. It can be quite unpleasant sometimes. So if we were going by our preference, a lot of people would say, and they do, oh, I don't like nature. Oh, I like nature. I don't like nature. It's not a question of liking it or not liking it. Do you ever ask yourself if you like water? If you like or dislike water? Some people might say, oh, I don't like water. I like to drink champagne. I like to drink Coca-Cola. I like to drink tea. I like to drink whatever. But all those things that they drink, that they like to drink, cannot exist without water. Because water is the basis of all of that. People can say, I don't like dirt. You might give someone some dirt like this, or, here, have some dirt. Why are you giving me dirt? I don't like dirt. Oh, it's dirty, Give me some food instead. But they don't know that their food comes from the dirt. Dirt is, or soil, is the primary source of anything that is physical, including food and wood and minerals. But people are very limited in their perception of things. They only see they can only see so far. This is too much. They can only see so far, like this. So Sanatana Dharma, the eternal law. All so-called religions of the East, whether it be Hindu, Buddha, Sikh, Jain, or many others, they follow, or they are established in Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means the eternal law. The eternal law means that they follow, like, they don't follow the same doctrine as the religions that we know in the West. And Sanatana Dharma has no idea of the supreme God which created everything. They have an equivalent of that, which is Sanatana Dharma, the eternal law. So in this sense, we are talking about the same thing when we talk about in Abrahamic religions, God, the creator. When you say the creator, you not really mean a character. A creator can be a force, a creative force. But the creator nonetheless. But Sanatana Dharma does not personify that. It can be personified. It's not, and it is personified in Hinduism. It's personified in so many ways. So many deities are there. And in Sanatana, I mean, so Sanatana Dharma follows this, that there is an eternal law, but so many ways to get there. Abrahamic religions have replaced the eternal law with a deity and say that only through that deity can you get there. See, so that's the difference. In Sanatani or Sanatana Dharma, the main thing is not the deity. It's the eternal law, Sanatana Dharma. The deity is only a way to Sanatana Dharma, to the eternal law, which is everywhere, which is eternal. Which is really what God is, if you really want to look at it that way. But now when you say God, when you call that eternal law God, it is very easy to personify it, and then by personifying it, the religions say only through this God, this deity. For them, they don't make the distinction between eternal law and deity. For them, it's one thing. And that's when they fight each other. My God, your God. I believe in Trinity. You don't believe in Trinity. Sorry about this noise. Sorry. Let me just... Okay. And they make it into a whole debate thing and fight and agree, disagree, or whatever. When it's all the same thing, but it's been twisted here and there. And Sanatana Dharma, any way can be the way. It's based on a science of finding access to that which is eternal. Whereas in the other religions, it's not about any science of finding access. The science is already established and you just have to believe in it and follow it. And even if you find another way, which is also a science, that gives you access to the same nature of divinity, of eternity, eternal law, the religion itself, the doctrine itself, tends to fight that. And that is what is not right. Because any way can be the way to that, if it is following the science of reaching or accessing Sanatana Dharma, eternal law. Every other law can be changed or modified as to what deity, as to what offerings, as to what kind of prayer, as to so many things. It is very, very scientific, these Sanatana Dharma. It's actually the science of spirituality, to know how spirituality works. And that is very important. And it is not faith driven, but faith is there too. They're not against faith. They're just saying, yes, faith is one way, and it's a very beautiful way. Or instead of faith, they say devotion. Devotion is very important. The devotee, the bhakti is, he doesn't care much about the science. And it's okay. He doesn't have to. But the science is there for those who want to know it. It's like there's something for everyone, Whereas in the other Western, so-called Western religions, as we know, they're not like that. The science is usually secret, denied to the public. Only a very few elites know about the science and keep it for themselves. But they don't teach it to the devotees and to the practitioners or to the faithful of that religion. And that is where we differ, me and the others, from the Abrahamic religions. So people who follow Sanatana Dharma, or who are established in Sanatana Dharma, have no issue with faith, have no issue with I have no issue with devotion. Just have to charge my PC because it's about to die. Okay. Okay. It is the others who have an issue. And there's a lot of politics, political decisions going into it, and that is wrong. I spoke to a very dear priest the other day about these things, and I asked him about, like, what about the other gospels that don't belong to the canon? You know, the gospel of Thomas, the gospel of Mary, the gospel of Judas, I think. So many other gospels. Mary Magdalene. I asked him, like, what about those? Like, because I'm really interested in those too, but I know that they don't belong in the gospel that has been decided for Christianity. And he says, yeah. I mean, at least for, you know, Catholicism and the others. And he said, yeah. Well, he said something very interesting. He said, you know, it's because those gospels talk about. I'm gonna try to remember what he said because I kind of forgot, but yeah, he said that those gospels, they do have parts of the truth, but those truths, people are not really ready to hear those truths. They're just going to confuse people because people are, you know, they just needed something simple to follow, to get to connect with the divine, to know God. So those were removed. That's what he said, and that was very interesting because the usual answer that I used to get from Christians was, oh no, those are not real. Those are just esoteric, whatever. They're not real. They're fake. He did not say that. He said, no, they're real. And they're very deep indeed, but they're not for everyone. So they were removed. I don't know if I really agree with his reason, but it's still very interesting that he said that. And so what I'm trying to get at is, you see, there were these decisions made, political decisions. Oh, this is not the right thing to show people, so let me remove this. Sanatana Dharma doesn't have this. In Sanatana Dharma tradition, you can find even things which, they're not really devil worship as such, but they may seem like that to someone else. They're not really. Not in that sense. But they show some darker sides of the divine, of God. Or, you know? Yeah. And those are also ways to access the eternal law. Or to know God, or, you know, like, however you want to say it. Like, you know, we always say God is light. But when you look around in the universe, light is very little specks here and there. The majority of existence is dark. But now dark has taken on a very negative meaning to it. Now people who are seeking to know God fear the darkness. And Sadhguru once said, in yoga, in the beginning we tell people God is light. And then when you get really deep in it, we say God is darkness. Light and darkness are two sides of the same coin. To know God in its fullest, in His fullest, you need to know the two aspects, the light and the dark. These have been removed. These have been divided and made into conflict. God is light, anything that's dark is the devil. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. Because if God is eternal and is everywhere, what is eternal and everywhere is darkness. But not in the sense that you know, not in the sense that is scaring you right now, But dark matter, dark matter, the scientific term, the matter that they found that permeates the entire universe, that matter, that substance, that physicalless substance is incredibly potent, and everything that we know has come from that. So there is something divine there, definitely. We cannot just dismiss it and say, oh, it's darkness, it's the devil. Come on, that's not. So Sanatana Dharma really dives into those things which modern religions don't really show any openness to at all. So having said all this, and I know, yeah, videos. Christianity to me is, or has been, I mean, I can see a lot of traces of Sanatana Dharma in Christianity. Sanatana Dharma always has masculine divine and a feminine divine. And it always says that God is everywhere. Now, Islam does not say God is everywhere. No, God is only in heaven. He cannot come into his creation. Okay, so that's not really God then. Let's just put that aside. Or maybe it's a God, but the God, the source of creation. If you're talking about the source of creation, it's everywhere. Now, if you're calling it God and you're telling us what it can do, what it cannot do, maybe you're not talking about the source of creation now. You're talking about something else, which means that now you're not talking about the creator of everything, which is everywhere. So Christianity says something very different. It says that God is everywhere. It's the same language as Sanatana Dharma. There's God the Father and there's the Mother of God, the feminine. Sanatana Dharma, again, balance. Sanatana Dharma is the balance of spirituality, like masculine, feminine, eternity, limitlessness everywhere, presence of divine everywhere. Can be accessed through many means. Even if you don't belong to that particular religion, you can access it. That also it belongs in Christianity. Christianity also preaches a lot about, even if one is not a Christian, can access God. So, to me, true Christianity is also Sanatana Dharma, which is what I'm trying to say now. And I know that Christianity first started, or at least one of the first Christianities to exist in the world, was in India through St. Thomas. And St. Thomas has reached India. I don't exactly remember when, but it was like 20 something or 50 something. I don't remember. AD. It was like less than 100 years AD. In Europe, where Christianity exists the most, or has existed, came only 300 years after Jesus Christ. Thomas. Yeah, Thomas is a very, very interesting character. His gospel exists only in India, nowhere else. In the whole canon of European Christianity, there is no Gospel of Thomas. They don't even recognize him. And when I read the Gospel of Thomas, oh boy, it is amazing. It shows a whole other face to Jesus, the mystical aspect of Jesus. It shows Jesus as an enlightened spiritual master who has come to humanity to show people, to give people tools to access their own divinity. Their own divinity is not in the sense of I think I'm God now. No, but that divine spark that exists in all of us. So once you access that, the ego melts, and now only God rises within you, because God is everywhere, even within us, and we can consecrate ourselves to manifest the divine within us. This has nothing to do with thinking you're God and pretending like you're God and, becoming all cocky and, you know, like you think now that you're God and that you can do whatever you want. That has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. And enlightenment seems to have been the thing that scares evil people the most, because anyone can awaken, and once you awaken, that's it. There's no going back. You're going to be awakening a lot of other people with you. It is the hope for humanity, for the planet, for everyone, and it doesn't depend on money. It doesn't depend on so many things. Everyone has it. It can happen anywhere, everywhere. So now, when we see every child in the world is being bombarded with so many needles and so many pills and so many nonsense, we really start to see, like, okay, they're trying to dumb us down. They're saying it's for our security, they're saying it's for our health, but we're seeing the complete opposite. Why is food not organic anymore? These questions has to be asked. Have to be asked. Why do we see more and more inorganic food, inorganic substances, more and more pollution, more and more? Oh, people will say, "Oh yeah, it's just how the world is going." No, I don't trust that one bit. It is very easy to live healthy, happy, in accordance with nature, and have so much trees around, and not have so much pollution, even plastic pollution, even all these kind of mind pollutions, and but somehow we are pushing humanity into that direction more and more. Why is that? People say, well, it's because of money. I don't think the people who are behind all this need the money, because they're the ones who print the money, okay? There's something else here. When we look closely, these kind of substances that we consume seem to calcify our third eye, our pineal gland. When the pineal gland is calcified, there is no way to awaken, to be enlightened, which is the nature of every human being on the planet. And that's I see people like Jesus and others as people, as enlightened beings who have come to this earth to show us the way of enlightenment, to awaken people to that same enlightenment. Everywhere in Christianity, they don't talk about this per se, but they say that Jesus wants us to take him as an example. They say that, even though there's a lot of other stuff they say, which is not really talking about enlightenment as such, but this really shows us that Jesus was here really to make us walk the same walk as him. And everything about Jesus is of an enlightened being, who many, like countless enlightened beings like that existed way before Jesus ever came. So are you telling me that only God finally decided one day to send his own son? I mean, for me, God has been coming in so many forms, way before Jesus, during Jesus, in Jesus, of course, and in many others after them. But because the mind is so limited and people are so limited and conditioned, the conditioning of the mind, as we spoke in the other video about the contribution of Buddha, that is the trap. That is the barrier. Now all you know is this that you grew up in. Now anything else is the devil. Anything else is bad. That's not true. You have to make your mind as universal as the universe itself, as universal and limitless and eternal as the eternal law itself, as Sanatana Dharma itself. Because Sanatana Dharma is that which you are referring to as God or the Father or the Creator. It is that. There's nothing else beyond that. It is that. Anything you try to modify out of that, you are just making it lesser than what that is. And that's okay too. Just acknowledge that that's what you're doing to reach that which is eternal. There's so many ways, so many points of access which will take you to the same destination. Truth is not something separate from this Sanatana Dharma. It is in line with it. And when I look at Christianity and the teachings of Jesus, they are so much in line with Sanatana Dharma, it's unbelievable. It's like how are we not even including this in Sanatana Dharma? It is Sanatana Dharma, but it has been modified a little bit in a way that now it seems like something different. But when you really look at it deeper, it's exactly Sanatana Dharma. And it's so beautiful. So guys, I'm going to stop this video here because I don't want it to be too long. It's going to be harder for me to upload. But please, as usual, tell me what you think in the comments. Ask questions. Give your thoughts. Give your experience. Share whatever you like. Give this video a like, please, so that the algorithm can keep showing you these videos because it's against us. Consider subscribing if you like this. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. And if you guys want to contact me, I always I started putting my social media addresses in the description of the video. Take care, guys. See you very soon.